Today we're diving into the story of one man, the musician Makabelico, but we're seeing him through two completely different lenses. One source paints this picture of a dangerous cartel propagandist, but the other, coming from the artist himself, shows us a man of deep faith. It's a wild contrast, right? So, how can both of these be true? Let's get into it.
So, what's the real story here? Is he the voice for a violent cartel, or is he a cancer survivor who's thanking a saint for saving his life? But here's where it gets really strange. According to the sources we're looking at, he might actually be both of those things at the very same time. Let's start by looking at the most serious accusations first.
Okay, so first, let's tackle the really heavy stuff. We're starting with a source that pulls absolutely no punches. And this isn't just someone who dislikes his music. This is a full-on denouncement of the man and the entire message he's accused of pushing.
Right out of the gate, this source makes an absolutely explosive claim. It directly links Makabelico to the Cartel Del Noreste, a group that is notorious for its brutal violence. So immediately, this puts him in the world of organized crime, not just music.
And it doesn't stop with just an association. The source is incredibly blunt, using some very clear language. It just straight up labels him a criminal. There's really no gray area there. It's a direct, powerful accusation. And then they take it a step further, a huge step. They call him a terrorist. I mean, that's a word with massive weight, right? You don't just throw that around. It completely reframes everything about him, his music, his motives, everything.
In this quote right here, wow, it really sums up just how completely this source rejects him. It's not just one thing they have a problem with. They're condemning his behavior, his lyrics, and his message. The conviction here is just absolute.
And this is maybe the most crucial point from this side of the argument. His music isn't seen as art, not at all. It's defined as propaganda, a weapon, really, designed specifically to push the agenda of the Cartel Del Noreste. This view turns his entire musical catalog into an instrument of war.
Okay, so that's one picture, a pretty dark one. But now we're going to do a complete 180. We're turning to a source from Makabelico himself, his song lyrics. And the person he presents, well, it couldn't be more different from what we've just heard.
So, how does this song open? Not how you'd expect. There's no talk of violence, no cartel bragging. Instead, it's a prayer. He's speaking to Saint Jude, the patron saint of lost causes, asking for peace. This sets a tone of really deep, personal faith right from the start.
And then things get incredibly personal. He reveals he's a cancer survivor, and he directly gives St. Jude the credit for his recovery. So this isn't just some abstract prayer, it's a really powerful personal testimony. He believes a miracle saved his life.
So if you boil it down, the song is all about these core themes: protecting his family, being thankful for his health, and a deep devotion to his faith. But then, there's this one line that, well, it changes things. He asks for guidance in his life as a malandro.
And boom, there it is. This is where it gets so complicated. Right in the middle of this prayer, he uses his own words to admit it. He calls it his vida de malandro, his life as a scoundrel or gangster that he started in Juarez. He isn't trying to hide it. He's actually weaving it into his prayer.
But even with that admission, he keeps circling back to his family. He basically says, everything I do, all the risks I take, it's for them. He frames his actions, whatever they might be, as something he does out of pure devotion to his wife and child.
So, where does that leave us? We've got these two stories that just seem impossible to reconcile. On one side, you have the portrait of a terrorist, and on the other, a devout family man. How can one person be both of these things?
I mean, just look at this when you put it side by side. The denouncements labels criminal, terrorist, propagandist, and his own lyrics present a believer, a cancer survivor, a family man. It's like, are we even talking about the same person?
You know, maybe that one word he uses for himself, malandro, a gangster, is the key to all of this. Does that identity somehow connect these two insane extremes? Does it explain how a man of faith could also be called a criminal propagandist? Or does it just make the whole thing even more confusing?
And really, that's the question we're left with, isn't it? Our sources are giving us two totally different realities, one of truly monstrous actions, the other of personal faith and love. And maybe the real challenge here isn't trying to figure out which one is true, but just wrapping our heads around the unsettling possibility that somehow they both are.